This segment is brought to you by A.J. Doman Chevrolet. We say yes when others say no.
Hey everybody, welcome back into Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. A couple of interesting cases involving the state police, and we talked to Sergeant Ross Brennan about that. Thanks so much for being with us. You're with the Public Affairs at Region 2 now. It's a big promoted event, so congratulations on that. I don't know if we've talked about that, but now you've kind of got a bigger region.
Yeah.
Are you on the road a lot more with that?
A little bit, yeah. A lot going to different troops and stuff.
I got you.
Yeah, a lot to talk about today.
We do, and that we got a couple of segments to talk about it. The first one involves child sexual abuse material, and when you first said that, I was like, oh, I didn't know state police was involved with that, but that is one of y'all duties.
Sure. So we have a lot of different parts of state police, right? A lot of people think it's just that trooper writing the ticket on the side of the road or working a crash, but we have a whole investigative division, and part of that we also have special victims unit. So that's where this case started. So our detectives actually got a tip from the Attorney General's office that there was a online account that was sharing and uploading child sexual abuse material. So following that tip, of course, we did some investigation and resulted in the arrest of a Bayou Blue man for 5 counts of child pornography under the age of 13, and also 1 count of child pornography. So in that case, it wasn't just our SVU. We also had Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office assist, and also our criminal investigation division. So there's a lot of hands that went into, a lot of partnerships that help out. But that was our most recent arrest that we have. And part of that case too is that it does help if you see something, say something, right? So if there's any suspicious activity that you're seeing online, or you're seeing, or hearing about it in talk with other people, you can always submit a tip. You can go to our website. There's a place you can submit anonymous tips, and they'll forward that information to the appropriate investigators to hopefully find those people that are abusing children and also trafficking victims as well.
Okay. So yeah, you made an arrest, 35-year-old from Houma, right?
Correct.
And also when Liz Murrow, so that's just something that kind of popped up to them, that they're aware of something like that is happening on the internet?
So the Attorney General's also has a investigative wing, the Louisiana Bureau of Investigations, and they do, again, we work in partnership with them as well. So their detectives come across this tip and then shared it with our detectives in our local area down here. Yeah. And that's how we started that investigation.
Yeah. So again, I didn't realize y'all had done that. Now, what I know you're involved in is if there's a crash, and there was a crash off of 311 that it was real disturbing. It was a mother. She had children in the car, and 2 of those children died. So take us through this case, as we now have a follow-up on it.
Yeah, so we started investigating this crash on June 5th. It happened on Highway 311 near Living Word Church. And with our investigation found that there was a Toyota Camry that was heading south on 311 that turned left in front of a commercial motor vehicle. It failed to, make sure there was enough space and a time to turn left. And of course, that vehicle was struck. Now, unfortunately, inside that vehicle was the driver and also 3 children. Nobody was wearing seatbelts. Nobody was in any types of car seats or nothing. Unfortunately, in that crash, there was 2 children that succumbed to their injuries at the hospital, as well as 1 that was seriously injured that did surviving. Now, of course, from that crash, we take toxicology samples and we sent those off to our crime lab, and we got the results back recently that showed that the driver of that Camry was over the legal limit at the time of the crash. So therefore, we ended up applying for some arrest warrants. We got those, and we arrested the driver for a multitude of different charges: vehicular homicide, also vehicular negligent injury, no car seats in proper left turn, and no seatbelt. So we followed up, we found where the driver was, and we ended up placing them under arrest and booked them into the Terrebonne Parish Jail.
Yeah. So 31-year-old mom who, and again, I guess all your actions have consequences, but this is a tragedy that really struck her life, but driving kind of far over the limit too, right?
Yeah, nearly 3 times the limit. And it shows that your decisions behind the wheel, they don't just affect you, they also affect other innocent people. Not only the children that were inside the car, but you also got the 18-wheeler driver had to live through that, as well as the first responders too. So these incidents, they affect a lot of different people. They say most normal people go through a traumatic event maybe once in their life. Fortunately, first responders, they can go through hundreds of those in their life. So again, again, all the stuff that we talk about, the sober driving, the seat belts, the distracted driving, it's all to prevent these types of situations, because one bad decision can change your life for forever. So now you got this person, of course, it has to still go through the court systems and stuff like that,
Sure.
but potentially looking at some pretty hefty and serious charges with this case.
Yeah, that is too bad. And like I said, I know a lot of people around that church. I think there's a little snowball stand across the way. People that worked on that for sure. Is there any, you talk about that, and sorry if I swerve off a little bit here, but is there any kind of help for first responders and those types of people that do have to deal with these kind of tragedies?
So in our agency, we have what we call TEAP, Troopers and Employee Assistance Program. So we have counselors and mentors that will work with people who've been through critical incidents. After the January 1st attack in New Orleans, of course, all the people that were involved, whether they needed the help or not, we actually brought them in and sat down, and we had counselors talk, just help process those emotions and those feelings that went along with it. So our agency does do a good job at providing those resources for us.
And I would imagine it's like a soldier, and a lot of troopers that probably did serve in the military, but it probably a lot of the PTSD types of things, I would imagine.
Most definitely, and we can all be susceptible to that. So it's great that we have those resources available, but unfortunately, it's just part of the job, right? That's what we signed up for. Sure. And as much as we love it, the worst part of it is going knocking those families' doors and telling their loved ones not coming back from somebody's decision on the roadway.
Right. And that is part of being an EMT and those kind of things too. You're also helping probably a lot more people than you have to, do those kind of things. So it's very important. All right. Y'all got a pretty good looking, best looking cruiser contest is going on. We do have it's a nationwide thing. We got some nice looking photos, and we'll talk about Louisiana's entry. We'll take a break. We'll be right back more with Trooper Ross Brennan right here on Bayou Time.
This segment was brought to you by A.J. Doman Chevrolet. We say yes when others say no.
Hey, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. We're spending some time with Ross Brennan, and we were talking about the contest, which is a much better, much cooler thing. It's called the Best Looking Cruiser Contest, the 8th annual. So
yeah.
Who's involved with that's the Louisiana version.
Yeah, so that's our submission this year. What it is all the state agencies submit the best photo they have of their cruiser, and it's a friendly competition between the agencies. But we actually have the public vote for their best one. So this is our submission. This one's pretty cool. It's a brand new Tahoe that we got, but it's parked in front of the Greater New Orleans Bridge, and they actually lit it up in blue and gold colors for us. So we wanted something Louisiana themed. A lot of people know New Orleans for when you think of Louisiana, and so that's our submission there. So it's a tough competition. We got some good ones this year. Florida has won the last 2 years. They
might win it again.
Well, especially they got a Corvette this year. So that's actually from a drug seizure that they got. So that was a free, in that forfeiture seizure, they were able to get that car. So there's no other state agency out there with a Corvette. So it'll be a little tough to beat them, but that's their submission. And they have a bunch of really good ones out there too. That's another great one that's leading.
Ohio?
Yeah, it's Ohio. So currently we're the top 13. They take the top 13 and they put them in the calendar. We still got some days to go. The voting ends on July 19th, but some really good submissions out there. Texas State Police, they're Highway Patrol. So we got some good competition. But what's cool about it, you can vote once a day every.
Mississippi.
Yep, that's Mississippi out there. So, of course, people try to find the most iconic places. So, like I said, we're in the top 13 now. We got Florida's already at 5-something thousand. I don't know how they must bribe people or something. I don't know how it happens. But so we're in the top 13 now, and that's only after day one. So hopefully we'll get some more votes in there. But you can vote once a day, every day on any device. It's easy. One, you can go to our social media. We have it posted all over there so you can find the link. Or you can just Google American Association of State Troopers.org. It'll pull up the links for that website and vote. So you get the chance to see all of them, pick your best one. And look, a lot of people are commenting about the designs of the units. Ours is a little plain compared to some others, but you're voting for the state, right? So we want to represent Louisiana nationwide. So, if anything, vote for your own state, right? Have that state pride and show us some support. So.
It looks good. And like I say, you can see the lights from the bridge, but you could also, there's a little water on the bottom. You can see it reflecting off the water on the bottom. So yeah, it looks really good. It's creative and in a nice way. And you guys are working there. And we were just talking about Troop NOLA and how much work they've been doing and what a spectacular job that the rates of crime in that city have come down so much since you guys have been there.
Yeah, significantly. They're doing a great job out there. They really are working for sure.
Yeah, better than some of the other folks that live there. Hey, just sorry about that shot. But anyway, we do have some other stuff though that you know, obviously this is a big weekend. A lot of people will be on the roads. We got to be careful. We had a couple of things like a trooper car had been hit up in North Louisiana, right?
Yeah, so talking about 4th of July driving coming up, well, one thing I want to lead off with is drowsy driving. So drowsy driving, that can be just as dangerous as impaired driving. So this was a trooper who was stopped in traffic up around the Shreveport area on the interstate, and the driver behind them, they admitted they weren't paying attention. They fell asleep behind the wheel and they struck the back of that trooper unit. Now, fortunately, there was only minor injuries involved, nothing serious, but again, easily could have been prevented by somebody being attentive behind the wheel, being awake. You know your body, know how you are. If you feel a little drowsy, sleepy, pull off at the next gas station, get an energy drink or some coffee. If you even catch some sleep behind the wheel somewhere in a safe location off the roadway, do that. Because as we can see there, that can be just as dangerous as impaired driving.
Oh, without a doubt. And worth noting, probably the last 20 years or so, on our interstate highways, we've been putting up that little kind of wire thing to keep people from going across the lane. I remember in Slidell, that on I-12 used to happen all the time. People would go across and go the wrong way into traffic. And these things really stop that.
They do. They are doing a great job of stopping those crossover crashes. I've seen it before down here. Before I was a trooper, I was driving on Highway 90. Somebody on the other side of the highway lost control, and sure enough, they crossed over and come into our lane. So by having those cable barriers in place, they do stop those crossover crashes from happening. They do work.
There's a stop sign at the Bird Bridge. There's a stop sign there instead of the light before, right?
Yeah, so down there.
Do people need to watch out for that?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, whether it's down there or anywhere, there's a stop sign, or, you want to make sure that you are following directions, right? So if you pull up first or somebody else does, they have the right of way. If two drivers pull up at the same time, the driver to the right of you, they get first dibs on going, right? So again, just be courteous, be, patient sometimes.
Why do we go with the stop sign there? Why do they make that decision?
I'm not sure exactly what that is. I know they have a lot of infrastructure improvements going on in that area. Even the front jail studio, they're got it down to one lane. So, talking about 4th of July travel, there's a lot of road construction and stuff out there. So again, just be patient. You might have some delays. So either one, leave early, or just, be patient if you're sitting in traffic.
We were talking to Lafourche Parish a little bit about they got, the drive sober, get pulled over thing. I'm sure y'all will probably be participating in that as well. So it's that big time during the holidays. Make sure you're not drinking and driving.
Most definitely, right? Any 4th of July events, if you have anything to consume that causes impairment, whether drugs or alcohol, have a sober driver or plan to spend the night at that person's house. I wish we had more Ubers and Lyfts, but it's not really down here. But just be smart out there, right? Have that sober driver to get home safe.
All right, Ross Brennan, thanks for the update. We appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll be right back with more Bayou Time right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Waits and Downer, attorneys at law.